The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber opened with a deep rumble that echoed through the vast hall. 12 species from across the galaxy sat in their designated seats, each representing thousands of worlds and billions of lives. The chamber was a marvel of engineering, built from materials that could survive the heat of a star and the cold of deep space. Today felt like any other day. Trade disputes needed solving. Border conflicts required attention. Mining rights demanded discussion. The usual business of running a galaxy that had known peace for over 10,000 years. Council. Speaker Quindle adjusted his position on the raised platform. His reptilian features showed the weight of his office. Green scales caught the light as he reviewed the day's agenda on his glowing datapad. The hegemony had ruled the council for 3 centuries, and Quindle took pride in maintaining order. Next item, he announced, his voice carrying easily through the chamber. Mining rights in the Vega system between the Trade Federation and the Crystal Collective. Ambassador Crixon of the Trade Federation stood up. His 6 arms moved in complex patterns as he spoke, each gesture meaning something different in his culture. The Federation discovered the system first. Our survey teams mapped every asteroid. Our claim is legal and proper, for anyone could respond. The chamber's emergency lights began flashing. The main doors, which had closed after the morning session, started opening again. This was unusual. The council followed strict protocols. No one entered during active sessions without permission. A figure glided into the chamber. It moved without walking, floating just above the polished floor. Its body was made of what looked like living crystal, constantly shifting colors from deep blue to bright silver. Whispers filled the chamber as representatives recognized the newcomer. A watcher, someone said quietly. The watchers were ancient, older than any other known species. They had been present when the first galactic civilizations began, but they rarely participated in politics. They spent their time studying patterns in space and time, claiming they could see the future through complex mathematics and mystical practices. Most council members considered them harmless but strange. Their predictions rarely came true, and when they did, the events were usually minor. A solar flare here, an asteroid collision there. Nothing that affected galactic politics. The watcher approached the central podium without asking permission. Council Speaker Quindle frowned but said nothing. The watchers commanded respect, even if their words often made little sense. I'm Veltar of the Watchers, the crystal being announced. Its voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I bring urgent news that cannot wait for proper scheduling. Ambassador Crixon, 6 arms folded across his chest. The council is in session. You must wait your turn like everyone else. There is no time, Veltar replied, its crystalline form pulsing with brighter light. I have seen the patterns, the mathematical certainties. A great darkness approaches. The galaxy. Military coordinator Zephyra of the warrior clans laughed. Her species had fought in every major galactic conflict for 5,000 years. Darkness. Are the void spawn returning? Have the machine worlds declared war? No, Veltar said, turning to face her. The threat comes from an unexpected source. There is a species in the Outer Rim territories. 3rd planet of a yellow star system. They call themselves humans. The chamber fell silent for a moment. Then someone started laughing. Soon, half the council was chuckling or making amused sounds in their various languages. The primitive bipeds asked Trade Representative Moxel. They have barely discovered fire compared to us. They fight with chemical explosives and metal projectiles. Their planet is classified as Level 2 civilization, added Zephyra, checking her military database. They spend more time fighting each other than exploring space. Half their planet cannot even communicate with the other half. They have no faster-than-light travel, said Science Advisor Renok. No energy shields, no gravity manipulation. We are perhaps 1,000 years behind, the most backward species in our territory. Veltar's form flickered, showing signs of distress. You do not understand. We have observed them for 50 of their years. They are different from any species we have encountered. Different? How? Council Speaker Quindel, his tone showing mild interest but clear skepticism. They adapt, Veltar replied, in ways that defy our understanding. They take ideas from different fields and combine them in unexpected ways. They solve problems by breaking rules we did not know existed. All species adapt, said Ambassador Crixon dismissively. That is how evolution works. It is not special. No, Veltar insisted, its voice becoming more urgent. Their adaptation is not biological. It is intellectual. It's creative. They do not just use tools. They reimagine what tools can be. They do not just learn from mistakes. They turn mistakes into advantages. The chamber buzzed with confused murmurs. Several representatives exchanged glances that clearly said they thought the Watcher had lost its mind. Even if this were true, said Sephra, they are one species on one world. We represent millions of worlds and thousands of species. What threat could they possibly pose? When they unite, Veltar said, when they reach the stars, they will be unstoppable. I have seen the patterns. The mathematical certainties show that within 100 years, they will dominate the galaxy. The laughter returned, louder. This Time Council Speaker Quindel had to call for order. Respected Watcher, he said formally, we thank you for your concern. However, the humans are barely aware that other species exist. They believe they are alone in the universe. Their most advanced spacecraft cannot even reach their own moon reliably. Their development curve is impossible, added Science Advisor Renak. If they continue at their current rate, they will achieve faster than light travel in perhaps 500 years. By then, our civilizations will be even more advanced. You think in linear terms, Veltar said desperately. Humans do not develop linearly. They make leaps. Sudden, impossible leaps that defy prediction. Impossible leaps. Sephra stood up, her warrior's pride showing. Even if they developed 10 times faster than any species in history, they would still be children compared to us. A people have been fighting wars for 5,000 years. We have perfected the art of conflict. They have been fighting wars for their entire existence, Veltar replied, and they have never perfected anything. They constantly change, constantly improve, constantly find new ways to overcome challenges. This is ridiculous, declared Ambassador Crixon. One primitive species cannot threaten the combined might of the galaxy. We have maintained peace and order for 10,000 years. That peace and order has made you complacent, Veltar said, its form beginning to dim. You have forgotten how to grow. You have forgotten how to change. The humans never stopped growing. They never stopped changing. Council Speaker Quindel looked around the chamber. He could see that the other representatives were losing patience with the Watcher's strange warnings. Thank you for your concern, he said formally. The Council will make note of your warning. However, we have more pressing matters to discuss. The humans are not our problem. They will be, Veltar said quietly. When the sky turns black with their ships, remember that you were warned. The Watcher turned and glided toward the exit. As it reached the doors, it paused and looked back. We offered this warning out of respect for the peace you have maintained, it said. When that peace ends, remember that you chose not to listen. The doors closed behind the Watcher, leaving the chamber in uncomfortable silence. After a moment, Council Speaker Quindel cleared his throat. Where were we? He asked. Ah yes, the mining rights in the Vega system. The Council returned to its business, already forgetting the strange warning. In the Outer Rim territories on the third planet of a yellow star, Humans continued their daily lives, unaware that their existence had been debated in the halls of galactic power. The warning had been given. T had been dismissed. Hey. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, patterns continued to shift in ways the galaxy was not prepared to understand. 50 years had passed since the Watcher's warning echoed through the Galactic Council chamber. The alien representatives had long forgotten the crystal being's words about humans and darkness. Life in the galaxy continued as it had for thousands of years. Captain Hyanwu stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel New Horizon, watching the stars blur past through the main viewing window. His heart raced with excitement and fear. Today would mark the first time a human ship had traveled faster than light. Today would change everything. Status report, he called to his crew. All systems green, Captain, replied Chief Engineer Minho from his station. The young man had spent 3 years working on the faster-than-light drive, barely sleeping as he pushed the boundaries of human engineering. The quantum drive is stable. We're ready for the jump. Dr. Sujin looked up from her science station. As the mission's lead scientist, she had prepared for this moment her entire career. Proxima Centauri's system is our target. If there's any alien activity in our local area, we'll find it there. Communications are ready, added Lieutenant Young Mi. We have translation software loaded with every language pattern Earth's computers could generate. If we meet someone out there, we'll try to talk. Captain Hyanwu took a deep breath. Behind him, the crew of 30 humans represented the best Earth had to offer. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and explorers. They had trained for 5 years for this single mission. Gauge the drive, he ordered. The universe changed around them. Stars became lines of light. Space itself seemed to bend and twist. Then, suddenly, there was somewhere else entirely. It's complete, announced Minho. We're in the Proxima Centauri system. All systems operating normally. Scanning for artificial structures, Dr. Su Jin said, her fingers moving quickly across her control panel. Captain, I'm detecting something. Large structure orbiting the third planet. It's definitely not natural. On screen, Hyanwu ordered. The main viewing window filled with an image that took everyone's breath away. A massive space station hung in the void, its surface covered with lights and moving vehicles. It was clearly built by intelligent beings, and it was unlike anything humans had ever imagined. It's beautiful, whispered Young Mi. It's huge, added Minho. That thing is 10 times bigger than our largest space station. Dr. Sujin's equipment began beeping rapidly. Captain, they're scanning us. Multiple energy beams are focused on our ship. Any sign of weapons? Hyanwu asked. Tease. Not that I can detect. They seem curious rather than hostile. A new voice suddenly filled the bridge. It spoke in a language no human had ever heard, full of clicking sounds and musical tones. The ship's translation system worked frantically to decode the meaning. Unknown vessel, identify yourself. The translation finally announced in mechanical English. State your purpose in Trade Federation territory. Captain Hyanwu straightened his uniform. This was the moment humanity had dreamed of for centuries. This is Captain Hyanwu of the human vessel New Horizon. We come in peace, seeking contact with other intelligent species. A long pause followed. Then the alien voice returned, sounding, surprised humans, from the third planet of Sol System. We were not aware your species had achieved faster than light travel. We developed it recently, Hyanwu replied carefully. We would be honored to meet with representatives of your people. Please dock at Port 7. Station Commander Nixel will meet with you shortly. As the New Horizon approached the alien station, the crew pressed against the windows to get a better look. The structure was even more impressive up close. Thousands of beings moved through transparent tubes between sections. Ships of various sizes came and went from dozens of docking ports. Look at their technology, Dr. Sujan said quietly. Their energy systems are centuries ahead of ours, maybe thousands of years. Their materials, science is incredible, added Minho. See how those support beams curve. Couldn't build something like that with our strongest alloys. Captain Hyenwu watched his crew study the alien technology with fascination rather than fear. This was why he had chosen them. Adaptable and eager to learn, the docking process was smooth. The alien systems guided their ship into position with gentle precision. As the airlock connected, Captain Hyenwu felt the weight of history on his shoulders. Remember, he told his crew, we represent all of humanity today. Be respectful, be curious, but most importantly, be yourselves. The airlock opened to reveal 3 alien beings. They were tall and thin, with blue-gray skin and large eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. Their leader stepped forward and spoke through a small device attached to his chest. I am Station Commander Nixal of the Trade Federation. Welcome to Deep Space Station Proxima. Thank you for receiving us, Captain Hyenwu replied. I am Captain Hyenwu, representing the United Earth Government. Commander Nixal's expression was difficult to read, but he seemed amused. United Earth Government, your species has achieved planetary unity. How, ... Interesting. We united when we realized we were not alone in the universe, explained Dr. Sujan. Our differences seem small compared to the vastness of space. Most species require several centuries of space travel before they achieve such unity, Nixal replied. Your development is unusual. The aliens led the human crew through the station. It was a wonder of engineering and art. Shops sold goods from dozens of worlds. Restaurants served food from species the humans had never imagined. Children of various alien races played together in parks filled with plants from across the galaxy. How many species are part of your federation? Asked young me. The Trade Federation includes 47 species, Nixal replied. The Galactic Council represents over 1,000 species across millions of worlds. The humans exchanged glances. They had hoped to find other intelligent life, but the scale of galactic civilization was overwhelming. Your species shows promise, Nixal continued as they walked. Your technology is primitive, but your curiosity is admirable. Perhaps in a few centuries, you will be ready for minor trade agreements. Dr. Sujan noticed how the aliens spoke to them like adults talking to children. Polite, but condescending. They saw humans as amusing, but harmless. But Dr. Sujan was observing everything with her trained scientific mind. She noticed how the aliens had grown comfortable with their technology. They used it without understanding it. They followed procedures without questioning them. How do your energy systems work? She asked Commander Nixal. Energy systems? He seemed surprised by the question. They simply work. Our engineers maintain them according to standard procedures. But how do they generate power? Okay. What principles do they operate on? I am not an engineer, Nixal replied dismissively. Such details are not important for administration. Dr. Sujan exchanged a meaningful look with Minho. The aliens had advanced technology, but they had stopped questioning how it worked. They had become comfortable with their achievements. The tour continued for several hours. The aliens showed them manufacturing centers, research facilities, and cultural centers. Everything was impressive, but everything also seemed ... static, unchanged, perfected, and then frozen in time. Your technology seems very stable, observed Minho. Of course, replied Nixal proudly. We perfected these systems thousands of years ago. Why would we change what already works perfectly? Back on the New Horizon, the crew prepared for departure. They had been given star charts, basic trade information, and formal recognition of Earth as a developing civilization. What did you think? Captain Hyenwu asked his senior staff. They're advanced beyond our imagination, said young me. But they treated us like children. They've stopped innovating, observed Dr. Sujan. They've reached a point where they're satisfied with their achievements. They maintain their technology, but don't improve it. That's their weakness, added Minho. They think in terms of what is, not what could be. Captain Hyanwu nodded slowly. Dr. Sujin, I want you to compile everything we learned about their technology. Not just what they showed us, but what you observed. Already started, Captain. I noticed several interesting things about their power systems and manufacturing processes. As the New Horizon prepared to return to Earth, Commander Nixel sent a final message. Safe travels, humans. Contact us again when your species is ready for serious discussion. Perhaps in a century or two. The human ship jumped back to Earth, carrying with it knowledge that would change everything. The aliens had shown them the galaxy's technology, thinking humans were too primitive to understand it. They were wrong. Dr. Sujin spent the entire journey home analyzing every detail she had observed. By the time they reached Earth, she had filled dozens of reports with observations and theories. We can do this, she told Captain Hyanwu as Earth appeared on their screens. We can build what they built, but we can build it better. The first contact mission was complete. Humanity had met the galaxy and been dismissed as primitive children. The galaxy had also shown humanity its secrets, thinking those secrets were safe. Soon, the galaxy would learn that underestimating humans was a dangerous mistake. Dr. Sujin had not slept properly in 3 weeks. Her laboratory at the United Earth Research Center was filled with alien technology, blueprints, energy readings, and mathematical equations that covered every available wall space. Empty coffee cups and food containers scattered across her desk told the story of someone completely absorbed in their work. Dr. Sujin called her assistant, researcher Jinwoo, as he entered the lab. General Taiwan is here to see you. She looked up. From her work, her eyes red from exhaustion, but bright with excitement. Send him in. I think I've found something incredible. General Taiwan walked into the laboratory wearing his military uniform, his face showing the stress of coordinating humanity's response to first contact. As head of the United Earth Defense Initiative, he had spent months preparing for humanity's next steps into the galaxy. Dr. Sujin, he said, the world leaders are asking for updates. What have you learned from the alien technology? Everything, she replied, standing up quickly. General, what I've discovered changes everything we thought we knew about ourselves and about the galaxy. She walked to a large display screen and activated it. Complex diagrams filled the screen, showing alien technology systems alongside human modifications. The aliens showed us their technology, thinking we were too primitive to understand it, she began. But they were wrong. We don't just understand it, we can improve it. General Taiwan studied the diagrams. Improve it? How? That they think in fixed patterns, Dr. Sujin explained, pointing to the alien designs. Their energy systems work perfectly, but they've used the same design for thousands of years. They never question if there might be a better way. She switched to a different diagram, showing human modifications. We took their basic energy system and asked, what if we changed this part? What if we combined it with that part? What if we made it smaller, faster, more efficient? And it worked. It worked beyond my wildest dreams, she said, her voice filled with wonder. General, we've created energy systems that are 3 times more efficient than anything the aliens have. And that's just the beginning. General Taiwan sat down heavily. In a chair, 3 times more efficient. How is that possible? 'Cause we don't accept that something is perfect just because it works, Dr. Sujin replied. We always ask, how can we make it better? The aliens stopped asking that question long ago. She pulled up another display showing human spacecraft designs. Look at this. We've taken their faster-than-light drive and reduced its size by half, while doubling its speed. We've improved their shield systems, their communication arrays, their manufacturing processes. In 3 months, General Taiwan said quietly. We've improved technology that took them centuries to develop. 'Cause we approach it differently, Dr. Sujin said. We don't just use technology, we reimagine it, break it down to its basic parts, and rebuild it better. Meanwhile, on the frontier mining world of Kepler 442b, Foreman Dong Geheim was facing a crisis that would prove Dr. Sujin's theories correct. His mining crew had been trapped in a cabin for 2 days, and their rescue equipment was not working properly. The drilling machine is too slow, reported Miner Senko. At this rate, it will take a week to reach them. We don't have a week, Dong Yan replied. Their oxygen will run out in 12 hours. The mining team had been given standard equipment, designed by Earth's engineers following alien specifications. It was reliable and well tested, but it was not designed for this specific emergency. What if we modify it? Suggested Engineer Yunsu. The drill is slow because it's designed to be precise. What if we sacrifice precision for speed? Not how it's supposed to work, Sang-ho protested. The manual says. Forget the manual, Dong Haiyan interrupted. Lives are at stake. Working together, the mining crew dismantled the drilling machine and rebuilt it using spare parts from other equipment. They increased the power output, changed the drill bit design, and modified the cooling system. This is completely against specifications, Sang-ho said nervously. Then we'll write new specifications, Dong Kan replied. The modified drill worked perfectly. Not only did it reach the trapped miners in time, but it also worked so well that it revolutionized mining operations across human space. Within months, every human mining operation was using Dong Haiyan's improvements. Similar stories began emerging from human colonies across known space. Teacher Ji Hai on new Seoul-developed educational methods that help students learn 3 times faster than traditional approaches. Farmer Young Soo on New Busan created agricultural techniques that tripled food production using the same resources. Artist Hei Won on New Daegu began creating sculptures that were not just beautiful, but also functional. Her artistic designs somehow improved the efficiency of ship hull construction, leading to faster and stronger spacecraft back on Earth. Dr. Sujin was analyzing reports from across human space when she made her most important discovery. Jinwoo, she called to her assistant. Look at this pattern. It displayed data from dozens of human colonies showing improvement rates across different fields: engineering, agriculture, art, education, manufacturing. Every field showed rapid advancement. It's not just technology, she said quietly. It's everything. Humans don't just adapt to new situations. We improve them. What do you mean? Jinwoo asked. Other species adapt by changing themselves to fit their environment, Dr. Sujin explained. Humans adapt by changing their environment to fit their needs. We do it faster and better than any other species. She pulled up biological data about human evolution. Look at our development compared to other Earth species. We didn't just survive. We thrived, took over the entire planet, not through strength or speed, but through innovation and adaptation. And now we're doing the same thing in space. Jinwoo realized. Exactly. The aliens gave us their technology, thinking we would use it exactly as they do. But we can't help ourselves. We have to make it better. The implications were staggering. If humans could improve alien technology this quickly, what would happen when they had access to more advanced systems? What would happen when human creativity was applied to galactic-level problems? Dr. Sujin was so absorbed in her work that she didn't notice the security alert flashing on her communication device far away in the depths of space. Watcher Veltar was trying to contact the Galactic Council again. The ancient being had been observing human development since first contact. What it saw terrified and amazed it. The patterns were accelerating beyond all predictions. Humanity was not just reaching the stars. They were transforming them. On the council world of Syntrax Prime, Veltar's emergency message was being ignored. The council members were busy with their regular business, still convinced that humans were decades away from being relevant to galactic affairs. They had no idea that human ships were already moving through space, using technology superior to their own. They had no idea that human colonies were solving problems that had puzzled galactic civilization for millennia. Most importantly, they had no idea that humans had learned something from first contact that would change everything. The galaxy's most advanced civilizations had shown their hand, revealed their capabilities, and demonstrated their limitations. They had taught humanity that the galaxy's technology was not as perfect as it seemed. They had shown that innovation was possible, that improvement was achievable, and that the established order was not as permanent as everyone believed. Back in her laboratory, Dr. Su Jin made a final note in her research journal. Human advantage is not superior technologies. Human advantage is our refusal to accept that anything is perfect. We always believe we can do better. She looked at the data streaming in from human colonies across space. Production rates increasing, innovation rates accelerating, problem solving, capabilities expanding. We're just getting started, she said to herself in the depths of space. Watcher Velta continued sending warnings to a council that would not listen. The darkness it had predicted was not coming. It was already here, spreading through the galaxy one human innovation at a time. The galaxy's long age of stagnation was ending. The age of human transformation had begun, and the established civilizations had no idea what was coming next. Admiral Bo-young stood on the bridge of the flagship Seoul, watching the stars through the viewing window. 3 years had passed since humanity's first contact with alien civilization. 3 years that had changed everything behind her. 20 human warships hung in formation near the colony world of New Seoul. These ships should not exist. According to every galactic prediction model, humans were still decades away from building their first space fleet. Admiral called communications officer Kyung-ho from his station. We're receiving a transmission from the approaching fleet. Put it on speakers, Bo-young ordered. A voice filled the bridge, speaking in the clicking language of the hegemony. The translation system quickly converted it to Korean. Human vessels. This is War Commander Drexahan of the Hegemony 3rd Fleet. You are ordered to withdraw from this system immediately. Admiral Bo-young walked to the communication station. War Commander, this is Admiral Bo-young of the United Earth Defense Fleet. New Seoul is a human colony operating under interstellar law. We have every right to be here. Interstellar law applies to civilized species, came the reply. Primitives who steal technology do not qualify for protection. The bridge crew exchanged glances. They had expected this confrontation eventually. Human expansion had been too fast, too successful. The established galactic powers were finally taking notice. Stealing technology, Bo-young replied calmly. We developed our systems through legal reverse engineering of publicly demonstrated technology. No laws were broken. Impossible, Drexahan responded. Your species achieved faster than light travel 5 years ago. These ships represent centuries of advancement. You must have stolen the designs. Navigation Officer Salmon looked up from her station. Admiral, their fleet is taking attack positions. 40 ships incoming. Bo-young studied the tactical display. 40 hegemony warships against 20 human vessels. Okay, by all conventional wisdom, this should be an easy victory for the aliens. Their ships were larger, their weapons more powerful, their crews more experienced. All ships assumed defensive formation, she ordered. Prepare for combat, Keen said Weapons Officer Hai-jin. Should we try to negotiate? They came here to send a message, Bo-young replied. Let's make sure they get the right one. Hegemony fleet approached with confidence. War Commander Drexahan had fought dozens of battles against rebellious species. Young civilizations always fell quickly when faced with superior firepower. Human fleet. This is your final warning, he transmitted. Surrender now, or be destroyed. War Commander, Admiral Boyang replied, I have a counteroffer. Leave now, and we'll forget this happened. The alien response was immediate. 40 hegemony ships opened fire simultaneously, filling space with energy beams and explosive projectiles. What happened next defied everything. War Commander Drexahan understood about space combat. The human ships moved like living things. They twisted and turned through space with impossible grace, dodging attacks that should have been unavoidable. Their formation flowed like water, each ship supporting the others in patterns that seemed almost choreographed. How are they moving like that? Demanded Drex Hunt as tactical officer. Their maneuvers are impossible. Their ships are too small to generate that much thrust, added the navigation officer. They should not be able to accelerate that quickly. Admiral Boyang's fleet was not using conventional thrust systems. Human engineers had taken alien propulsion technology and completely reimagined it. Instead of large, powerful engines, they used dozens of smaller, more efficient ones placed throughout each ship. Pilot Sung Min, commanding the destroyer Busan, demonstrated the advantage of human innovation. His ship danced around 3 hegemony vessels, staying just out of range of their weapons, while his own guns found their targets with surgical precision. Target their shield generators, he ordered his weapons officer. Just like we practiced. Human weapons were different too. Instead of trying to overpower alien shields with massive energy bursts, they used rapid-fire systems that found weaknesses and exploited them, like water finding cracks in stone. Commander Yoon-ji, leading a squadron of 6 human frigates, showed another human advantage. Her ships moved as one unit, sharing information instantly and coordinating attacks with perfect timing. All ships focus fire on the lead battleship, she ordered. Turn 7. 6 ships attacked simultaneously, from different angles, their weapons striking the alien vessel's shields at precisely calculated points. The shield system, designed to stop single massive attacks, failed under the coordinated assault. War Commander Drexahan watched in horror as his superior fleet was systematically dismantled. Human ships were half the size of his vessels, but twice as effective. Their weapons were less powerful, but far more accurate. Their tactics were unlike anything in the galactic military databases. Sir, his communications officer called out, the 3rd squadron is gone. All ships destroyed. How? Drexahan demanded. They're primitives. They learned about space combat 3 years ago, sir, added his tactical officer. Our weapons cannot lock onto their ships. They're using some kind of jamming technology we've never seen. The jamming technology was another human innovation. Instead of trying to stop alien targeting systems entirely, human engineers had found ways to confuse them. The human ships appeared to be in slightly different positions than they actually were, causing alien weapons to miss by small but crucial margins. Within 20 minutes, the battle was over. 40 hegemony warships had been reduced to wreckage and debris. Not a single human vessel had been destroyed. War Commander Drexahan, Admiral Boyang, transmitted to the sole surviving alien ship, tell your leaders what happened here today. Tell them that humanity is not interested in conquest, but we will defend ourselves. This is impossible, Drexahan replied, his voice shaking. Your species is barely past stone tools. How did you defeat the hegemony 3rd Fleet? We learned from our mistakes, Boyang answered. And we never stopped learning. The surviving hegemony ship limped away from the battle, carrying news that would shock the galaxy. The humans had not just won a battle, till they had demonstrated military capabilities. That should not exist. News of the battle spread quickly through galactic communication networks. On Syntrax Prime, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session for the first time in centuries. Impossible, declared Military Coordinator Zephyr as she reviewed the battle reports. 40 ships against 20. The humans should have been destroyed in minutes. Their technology is beyond our understanding, added Science Advisor Renock. These capabilities represent centuries of advancement accomplished in just a few years. Council Speaker Quindell looked around the chamber at the worried faces of the galactic representatives. How did we miss this development? We weren't watching them closely, admitted Intelligence Director Kavran. They seemed harmless, a minor species in the Outer Rim. They're not minor anymore, Zephyr said grimly. If they can defeat a hegemony fleet, they can defeat anyone. What do we know about their expansion? Asked Quindell. 12 colonies established in 3 years, Kavran reported. Each one more advanced than the last. They're not just spreading, they're growing stronger. And they're changing things wherever they go, added cultural observer Lenara. Species that interact with humans start innovating again. Old trade routes are becoming more efficient. Even the Watchers are paying attention. At the mention of the Watchers, the chamber fell silent. Everyone remembered Veltar's warning from 50 years ago. Get me a connection to the Watchers. Quindell ordered quietly when Veltar's crystalline form appeared on the communication screen. Its first words sent chills through the chamber. You called me, it said simply. Assume you now believe my warning. What do you see in the patterns now? Quindell asked. Acceleration, Veltar replied. Everything is moving faster than our original predictions. The humans are not just reaching the stars. They are transforming them. Transforming them how? They make everything they touch more efficient, more innovative, more alive, Veltar explained. Species that have been stagnant for millennia are beginning to grow again. Old problems are being solved with new approaches. Is this good or bad? Asked Quindell. That depends, Veltar said, on whether you prefer the old galaxy or the new one the humans are creating. The communication ended, leaving the council in troubled silence. The Battle of New Sol had been more than a military victory. It had been a demonstration that the galaxy's established order was no longer secure. Admiral Boyoung's fleet returned to Earth carrying reports of their victory. But they also carried something more important. They had proven that humanity could stand against the galaxy's greatest powers and win. The news reached every human colony within days. On New Busan, farmers worked with renewed confidence. On New Daegu, artists created with greater boldness. On New Sol, teachers educated children who might one day explore the entire galaxy. General Tae-Wan, now Supreme Commander of Human Forces, addressed the United Earth government. The galaxy knows about us now, he said. They can no longer ignore us or dismiss us. What they decide to do next will determine whether we become partners or enemies. What do you recommend? Asked President Jeho. The greatest fleet in galactic history moved through space toward the Sol system. 10,000 ships from every major civilization in the galaxy formed a massive armada that stretched across millions of kilometers. The combined military might of 1,000 species was focused on one goal: stopping humanity before it was too late. Admiral Kethmer of the Crystal Collective commanded the largest section of the fleet. His crystal ships gleamed like jewels in the starlight, their hulls harder than diamond, and their weapons capable of shattering planets. Beside him flew the bioships of the hive minds, living vessels that could heal damage and adapt to any attack. The hegemony contributed their most powerful battleships, each one the size of a small moon. The Trade Federation brought their fastest vessels, equipped with the most advanced technology in the galaxy. Even species that had been at war with each other for centuries had united for this single purpose. All fleet commanders report status. Kethmer ordered through the communication array. Crystal Collective ready, came the first response. Hive Mind Fleet ready, followed another. Hegemony Armada ready. Trade Federation ready. One by one, every major civilization confirmed their readiness. This was not just a military operation. This was the galaxy's final attempt to preserve the order that had existed for 10,000 years on Earth. President Jeho stood in the Situation Room deep beneath the planet's surface. Around him, the best minds humanity had produced worked frantically at their stations. General Taiwan studied tactical displays, while Dr. Sujin monitored the defensive systems that protected Earth and its colonies. "They'll be here in 6 hours," announced Intelligence Director Menesio. 10,000 ships, President. Every major species in the galaxy. "What are our numbers?" Jeho asked quietly. "We have 8,000 ships ready for battle," replied Admiral Boyoung through the communication system. "Plus the orbital defense platforms around Earth and our major colonies." 8,000 against 10,000. The numbers seemed almost even, but everyone in the room knew the truth. The alien fleet represented the accumulated military power of the entire galaxy. Species that had been building warships for thousands of years. "President," Dr. Sujin said from her station, "I'm receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. They want to talk." "Put it through," Jeho ordered. The main screen filled with the image of Admiral Kethmer, his crystalline features reflecting the light from his bridge. When he spoke, the translation system rendered his words in clear Korean. "Human leaders, I am Admiral Kethmer, commanding the United Galactic Fleet. You are surrounded and outnumbered. Surrender now, and your species will be relocated to a supervised world where you can develop naturally." President Jeho stepped forward. "Admiral, I am President Jeho of the United Earth Government. We have no desire for conflict with the galaxy. We seek only to grow and explore like any other species. Your growth threatens the stability of galactic civilization," Kethmar replied. "Your rapid advancement defies natural law. Your influence is causing chaos throughout established systems." "We're causing progress," General Taiwan interjected, moving to stand beside the president. "Species that haven't innovated in centuries are beginning to advance again. Problems that seemed unsolvable are being solved." "That progress is uncontrolled," Kethmer said firmly. "It threatens the peace we have maintained for 10 millennia. You must be stopped." Dr. Sujin looked up from her instruments. "President, their fleet has reached the edge of our solar system. They're taking positions around all major planets." President Jeho took a deep breath. He had hoped this moment would never come, but humanity had prepared for it nonetheless. "Admiral Kethmer," he said calmly, "look around you. Look at your fleet." "What about it?" the alien admiral asked. "You brought 10,000 ships to stop one species that achieved spaceflight 5 years ago," Jeho replied. "Does that seem reasonable to you?" "Your capabilities are beyond normal development," Kethmer answered. "Extreme measures are necessary." "Our capabilities come from one thing," Jeho said. "We never stop asking how to make things better." "You stopped asking that question long ago." On the main tactical display, Dr. Sujin watched as the alien fleet completed its encirclement of the solar system. But she also watched something else. Human ships appearing from every direction. "President," she announced, "our fleet is in position." The alien fleet had expected to find Earth defended by a few hundred ships, perhaps 1,000 at most. Instead, they found themselves facing a force nearly equal to their own. Human vessels emerged from behind asteroids, from the shadows of planets, from empty space where they had been hidden by advanced stealth systems. Admiral Kethmer stared at his tactical display in disbelief. "How many ships do you have?" "Enough," President Jeho replied simply. But the most shocking moment came when the human fleet simply stopped moving. They took defensive positions, but made no aggressive moves. They powered down their weapons, but kept their shields raised. "What are you doing?" Kethmer demanded. "Proving a point," replied Admiral Boyoung, her voice joining the conversation from the flagship Soul. "We could fight you, all of you, right now, and we would probably win." "Impossible," Kathmer said, but his voice lacked conviction. "Your ships are larger and more powerful individually," Boyan continued. "But our ships are faster, more maneuverable, and more adaptable. Our weapons are more accurate. Our tactics are more flexible. Most importantly, our crews never stop learning." Engineer Soyoung's voice came through the communication system from the orbital defense platform around Earth. "Admiral, we've analyzed their fleet composition. Their ships use the same designs they've used for centuries, same weaknesses, same blind spots. But we're not here to demonstrate our military superiority," President Jeho said, drawing attention back to himself. "We're here to offer something better." "What could you possibly offer us?" Kathmer asked. "Growth," Dr. Sujan answered, standing up from her station. "Innovation, chance to move forward instead of standing still." It's activated a new display that showed technological developments across human space. "In 5 years, we've improved energy efficiency by 400%. We've developed new materials that are stronger and lighter than anything in galactic databases. We've created medical treatments that can cure diseases your species have suffered from for millennia." "How?" asked a new voice. Xara, of the hive minds, had joined the conversation. "By refusing to accept that anything is perfect," Dr. Sujan replied. "By always asking, what if, why not, how can we do this better?" Tactician Kyung-Soo's voice joined from the destroyer Busan. "We've shared our innovations with every species we've encountered. The Proxima miners are using human techniques that have tripled their productivity. The Vega agricultural worlds have adopted human farming methods that ended their food shortages." "This is exactly what we feared," Kathmer said. "It's uncontrolled change, disruption of established systems. Is stability worth more than progress?" President Jeho asked quietly. "Is maintaining the status quo worth more than solving the problems your civilizations have lived with for thousands of years?" A long silence followed. The massive fleets faced each other across the solar system, quote, weapons ready, but not fired. Finally, a new voice joined the conversation. Ancient, crystalline, familiar to those who remembered the original warning. "Okay, they are not here to conquer," Velter said, the Watcher's form appearing on every communication screen. "They are here to liberate." "Liberate us from what?" Kathmer asked. "From the darkness of stagnation," Veltar replied. "For 10,000 years, the galaxy has been in decline. Innovation has stopped. Growth has ended. We have achieved stability by giving up progress. The humans represent something we forgot how to be," the ancient being continued. "They represent the courage to change, to grow, to become more than what we are." President Jeho stepped forward one final time. "We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to help it remember how to dream again." What happened next would be remembered as the moment galactic civilization chose its future. One by one, ship commanders began powering down their weapons. First the smaller species, then the larger ones, until finally even Admiral Kathmer gave the order to stand down. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now we work together," President Jeho replied. "We share what we've learned, and you share what you know. We solve problems that have existed for millennia. We explore possibilities that have been ignored for too long. And if some species refuse to change," asked Admiral Xara. "Then they stay as they are," Dr. Sujin answered. "We won't force progress on anyone, but we won't let anyone stop others from growing either." The great fleet began to disperse, but not in defeat. Ships from different species began forming, mixed formations, sharing crew members and technology. The first steps toward a new kind of galactic civilization on Earth. President Jeho watched the alien ships depart through the observation window of his office. The sky was no longer black with enemy vessels. It was filled with the light of new possibilities.